Hey, how's it going, friends? Thank you for tuning in to VR Revelations. Welcome once again to the channel. Please make sure you give this video a like and make sure you subscribe for future content. So let's talk about Russia's Lunar 25 Lander moon mission. Of course, as you have probably read already, or by the title of this video, the Lunar Lander crashed shortly after attempting to soft land on the moon. Apparently, its rockets started up and the Russian space agency lost contact with the Lunar Lander, so they were unable to control it, and it ended up crashing apparently into the surface. Now, you know, this isn't really that big of a deal. A lot of missions have failed, not just Russian space missions, but also US space missions, Chinese space missions. So it's not that really big of a deal, but right now it's making the headlines, especially in the Western media. It's pretty funny, with this whole conflict in Ukraine, they're literally looking for any omen or any sign to sort of try and justify this propaganda that, Russia is failing. So this is just the next big opportunity for the Western media to criticize Russia. And I was reading this New York Times article, which was hilariously trying to imply that, this is a sign that Russia is failing and that, Vladimir Putin is at risk of being ousted as president of Russia, since he's losing, popularity with the Russian people because of the Ukraine war, which is completely untrue. He's the most popular leader in the world right now, according to the poll numbers. And so they're trying to make it seem like, this is just going to bring his popularity down and he might be ousted from his position in power, which is super far-reaching here. This is just grasping at straws here, and completely insane to make a statement like that. But again, the Western media could see a shooting star over Russia, and they'll try to make it seem like an omen that, Russia is going to collapse pretty soon. As a matter of fact, this is sort of a good learning lesson for Russia to better their technology, to better their communication with future lunar missions. Of course, there have only been 3 countries that have successfully landed on the moon, or at least landed robots. The U.S. is supposedly the only country to have landed men on the moon, right? There's a lot of speculation around that, right, as to the fake moon landings. Now, I don't put on a tinfoil hat for that one. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that, they were able to land men on the moon in the 70s, right, over 50 years ago, but they can't do it today with, our superior technology. Of course, there was a lot of interest that was lost in the space race, especially trying to go to the moon after the 70s, but it has ramped up once again. So we see a lot of, people and agencies developing more technologies to try and get back to the moon and possibly to other places like Mars, as we've seen with Elon Musk's SpaceX program. But it seems like it's very difficult for them, even with our modern day technology. Apparently some of the technology from the 70s was lost. So explain that one to me. But the focus here is on this lunar mission that Russia carried out. This was their 25th lunar mission. They've had other ones that were successful. Of course, Russia was the first nation to land an actual rover on the surface of the moon. And they've done this before, right? But this one, they lost communication with the spacecraft. So, it crash landed, and, I just had to make this video because somehow they're trying to connect this to the conflict in Ukraine and the downfall of Russia, which is pretty hilarious, seeing that, the U.S. has had countless failed, space missions as well as other countries. So, most recently, China actually landed a robot on the moon. I believe in 2019, they were actually the first country to successfully land a spacecraft on the dark side of the moon. And they actually were able to collect samples, I believe, from that. So, these three countries are definitely leading the way in this new space race. I believe Russia is trying to land somewhere in that area of the moon, or they were trying to land, where there are suspicions that there might be space ice, right? And the possibility of water, essentially, for astronauts in the future if they're able to get back to the moon. This one crash landed. But again, it's really not big of a deal. This doesn't mean anything concerning the conflict in Ukraine. Apparently, one of the articles was trying to make it seem that, one of the reasons why they failed was because Russia was supposed to get some cameras from a European nation, I think Britain, but because of the sanctions and all of that, and at the start of the conflict in Ukraine, they canceled that, and so they had to use their own cameras. So, apparently they were making it seem like because of that need for European cameras, that might have played a role in, this failure, which again is just grasping at straws here. It's just wishful thinking. These things happen all of the time. I'm sure Russia will better its communications and, eventually land another robot there on that side of the moon. Whether there's water or ice there that's actually drinkable or usable for, future missions, possibly with men, will be interesting to see. Not really that big of a deal, Western media. This doesn't mean anything concerning what is happening right here on planet Earth. It's definitely not going to decrease Vladimir Putin's popularity with his people. He's not going to be ousted because a robot didn't successfully land on the surface of the moon. All right. This is just, the Western media trying to criticize Russia in any way that it can, and trying to develop these wild speculations. But anyways, I just thought I'd make a video on that. Let me know what you think of, these space launches, this new space race that is taking place. Let me know what you think about, this theory that maybe the U.S. never landed men on the moon, and on how, it's so difficult for us to get back to the moon nowadays with this supposed superior technology. Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, guys. And remember, the truth is stranger than fiction. God bless and have a wonderful day.